What up, folks? What it do? I'm back. Jeremy Q, welcome back. Mace, season 2 of the Best Advice Ever podcast. Man, it's been a long time that I missed you. I left you without a dope beat to step to. My bad. Hey, man. Hey, lady. Hey, non-binary person. Everybody. Anybody. Everybody. Make some noise. It's your friendly neighborhood bow-tied comedian, Mike Goodwin, and I am kicking off the second season of the Best Advice Ever podcast. Want to give y'all an update. Want to give y'all some information. I've been away. I think the last podcast was sometime this summer, around July, and I was saying when I closed the last season, I was saying that, hey, man, I'm going to give y'all some updates. I'll pop on. I didn't do any of that. As you know, I've done none of that. So let's bring everybody up to speed of what my goings and comings and goings has been. I hope everyone is having a tremendous fourth quarter of the year. We're about to wind up 2023, which seems utterly ridiculous. How has the year jet streamed? And honestly, I don't know why I said honestly, but I really enjoy the fall. I'm a big fall guy. From September to January, February, whatever that is. I mean, but fall is not January, February. Fall is from like September to probably somewhere in December. But I live in South Carolina, so we really don't have a serious winter. Like we have fall. We have winter. It gets cold. I don't know if I would say it's winter. We get cold for maybe a month, 2 months, and then we're in the springtime for maybe an hour, and then we're in the summer. We're in the summer off the rip. But I love this time. I'm not a pumpkin spice guy, but I love seeing the pumpkin spice advertisement and the leaves and the trees changing colors, autumn, festivals, and eggnog and apple cider and scarves. This is my time of year, but I felt like we were just here, like from 2022. Now, how are we about to bring the Christmas tree out the attic? We got to put up a wreath and lights. You got to start hearing this sleigh bell ring-a-ling-linging. We're in that Thanksgiving, Christmas. Well, I guess Halloween jumps it off. Halloween. Can't say Halloween if you're a Christian. My God. I try not to go on these tangents, but my social media folks posted some type of Halloween graphic, and my folks on Facebook lost their ever-loving minds. Look, man, I'm not a celebrator of the darkness of Satan, of the devil. My kids don't dress up for Halloween, but there is a level of like, hey, man, if people send their kids to school dressed like a princess, I don't know if you are advocating Satanism. Kids like to dress up as characters. Can we do it separate from Halloween and people not have an issue? But hey, man, I'm not here to get in a theological debate. I'm just saying I like this time of the year. But to bring y'all up to speed, man, I have had a lot of stuff happen. A lot of things have happened in this little break of time that we were apart. One of the most important things I've launched, kicked it off. It's happening. It's going down. The Big Dad Energy Tour, comedy tour. It has happened. It is going on. I've had 3 dates. I started on September 9th in Cornelius, North Carolina at the Kane Center for the Arts. Sold out night. Man, it was a great kickoff event, packed house. We had a wonderful time. From there, I was in Columbus, Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio. I think that was September the 30th. And on October the 1st was in Columbia. 2 very great nights. And next up on the schedule is Columbia, South Carolina, where I live, the hometown, home team, November the 11th. Tickets are sold out. No more tickets unless you need a wheelchair. If you're in a wheelchair, we have wheelchair accessible tickets. But for those of you that want a seat, ain't no more. There's no more seats. It's sold out. November the 11th, 7:00 at the Harbison, the Midlands Tech Theater in Harbison, the Harbison campus. 400 seats. They are all present and accounted for, and it's going to be a great night. I have my friend Allison Moore. She will be the opener of the night. Funny young comedian out of Virginia. She spent some time here in South Carolina. She's been a longtime friend of mine and my wife's. So we're going to have her. She's going to open up. I'm going to do a VIP Q&A. So if you bought the VIP tickets, oh, man, we're going to have an experience. We're going to have it. It's going to be fly. It's going to be lovely. We're going to do Mike Goodwin bow tie comedy style. We're going to do the meet and greet at 5:30. Show starts. I think the doors open at 6:30. Don't hold me to that. I'll update you. Show starts at 7. And it's going to be a tremendous show. Big Dad energy. The next date is November the 30th. If you know people in Raleigh, North Carolina, I know folks have been asking me about Raleigh for some time. I'm coming to Raleigh. Good nights. November the 30th. Now, that's a school night. I think that's a Thursday night, but I would love to see your face in the place. But before Raleigh, we're in Columbia. And again, there's no more seats. There's no more opportunity. I told people, hey, man, but get your ticket. And they drug their feet. They were lollygagging. Now they on the outside looking in. But it's going to be a great night. I'm so excited. So the tour launched. The other thing, I was on the Today Show. Rockefeller Plaza, Rockefeller Center, New York. Was on the morning segment of the Today Show. Friend of mine, Craig Melvin. I met Craig Melvin many moons ago here in Columbia. Craig used to work for the local television station, WIS. We met on a social connection, hung out a few times. Craig went to big time. Craig moved from here. I think Craig moved to New York, and maybe he was in DC for a time. But he kind of worked his way up the ladder, and now Craig's a legit on-air personality for major news outlet, WIS, NBC. He goes from WIS to NBC. Craig had something that I forgot the name of, Craig Cam or something. He would do a bunch of weirdo things. He'd just be at 5 o'clock in the morning. He'd just be at people's campuses and at the zoo, just getting the shot, getting the story. Well, when Craig left, and was doing his thing, we would see each other sporadically in the airport. We're like, what's up, man? And I have a nickname I yell out to Craig when I see him. We have a couple of words and we keep it moving. I just been enjoying his success. And Craig was like, hey, man, I got to get my guy up here to talk about the kickoff of the Big Dad Energy Tour. I got to get him on here to talk about all his wins and successes as he's been kind of making his way up the comedy ladder. And it was a great gesture. It was really, I was on the Today Show to receive some flowers from a long time friend, from somebody that I met way back in the day. So that was cool. The other thing I had an opportunity to do, yeah, you see it. Boomer Sooner, baby. So I'm definitely a South Carolina Gamecock, but I'm also an honorary member of the Boomer Sooner Society. I had the opportunity to speak to the 7-0 Oklahoma Sooners this year. I'm not saying that the team is undefeated because I spoke to them. All I'm saying is, since I spoke to them, they've been undefeated. But yeah, I had an opportunity this summer. Was it summer? Maybe going into, yeah, it was summertime, to go and speak to the football team before they started. Well, they were in their fall camp. Actually, the day that I spoke to the team, they were first day in pads. And I flew into Oklahoma City, drove over to Norman. Tremendous experience. The facilities, top notch. Oklahoma is one of the team Nike, or the Nike team brand Nike. So that creates all of their apparel. So this, I walked away with swag, man. I got this dry fit long sleeve shirt. I got short sleeve shirt. I think I got a polo, got a hoodie, got some Jordan, Oklahoma shoes, got some shorts. Hey, man, I'm a part of the Oklahoma organization. I just want to let y'all know that where my alliances lies. But yeah, had the opportunity to go and speak to the team and hopefully provide some wisdom, some insight, definitely some laughs. Had the opportunity to laugh with the team. Matter of fact, on the team there's a quarterback, and the young man named General Booty. I'm not making this up. I'm not. This is not a joke. His parents literally named him General Booty. And I told him, I said, hey, man, your parents had big goals for you. They didn't name you Private Booty. No, sir. They did not name you Lieutenant Booty. No, they named you General Booty, man. And we had a good time. So that's something that's happened. Another thing that's happened in the time since I've been away, I am a little less of Mike Goodwin. Yeah, I've lost 25 pounds since the last time we were together. I'm on my fitness regimen, wellness regimen, nutrition regimen, and it's going well. Now, I made, 25 was the last time I jumped on that scale. I probably might have got 2 or 3 of them back over this weekend, but I feel better. I feel tremendous. And I also feel better because I can now access pieces of my wardrobe that I could not access before. Now I have free reign to the majority. It's like 1 or 2 things in my closet I still got probably about 7 more pounds to get up off of me. So yeah, man, I feel good. I look good. And I'm excited to start this podcast off. So I wanted to come back and update y'all on the comings and goings of Mike Goodwin. But we're back. We're back every week, every Wednesday. The podcast, we're going to roll until we don't roll anymore, and then we'll stop, and then we'll do season 3. But right now, we're in season 2, and I'm so excited. So let me give you the best advice ever. And the best advice ever is simply be a lifelong learner. I know I talked about in one of the episodes before cultivating a life of professional development. They kind of are similar, but this is more direct about being a lifelong learner. Always position yourself to grow and learn and develop. That's something that I really hold near and dear to my heart. I really, as I look at my life and the choices and the decisions that I've made, one of the most important things I've done was I've continued to be a learner. I did not allow my schooling to impact my learning. I've learned so much more outside of the classroom than I have inside of a classroom. And I'm adamant to constantly put myself in a position in which I'm going to develop and learn and grow. I'm constantly challenging myself, stretching myself. Matter of fact, you may be wondering, well, Mike, how does one? Because people tell you that. Be a lifelong learner, and then they go on about the business. Well, I'm gonna give you some insights on how you can execute this, how you can make this a possible practice of your life. Number 1, you got to embrace curiosity. Be inquisitive, ask questions, explore topics that pique your interest. If something kind of lights your brain on fire, spend some time studying that, reading about that. Over the course of my life, I've been a chess guy. I've played chess. I'm a average chess player. I don't even know. I don't play a lot, but I've been very interested in chess. And so now I'm reading a book by one of the young man, matter of fact, who was the kind of the topic of In Search of Bobby Fischer. I can't say his last name, but Josh. And the book is The Art of Learning. So part of this, I want y'all to hold me accountable because I don't want to keep talking about things and not being a finisher. That was another chapter, another episode. So today is October, what is going to be Wednesday. This is Wednesday, October the 25th. And I want to know by the end of the month, this book should be read and I should have another book. But I embrace curiosity. I embrace wanting to know more about certain things. And chess is something I want to know more about. And I found this book, and it's The Inner Journey to Optimal Performance, The Art of Learning. So embrace curiosity to become a lifelong learner. The other one is Seek to Cultivate a Love for Reading. Cultivate a love for reading. I just was telling you about my book. Not only do I have this book that I'm reading, but I carry it with me. I have it. If I leave the house, this book is available. Like sometimes you find yourself in lines and you find yourself waiting in the carpool line, or you find yourself lane. You may find yourself with some time to spare as you wait. Bring your book out. Cultivate the love of reading. Some people say, I don't like reading, because you don't do it. You got to do it to like it. And read the things that you enjoy. Like I enjoy, unfortunately, I've heard folks say that they don't read fiction. Like, life's so busy. They don't read fiction. Fiction is some of the best reading. Like, it's like people love movies, books. Movies are created out of books. Now, I understand you feel like, I could take 2 hours to watch this movie. Take that same 2 hours and read a book. And if you're reading a fiction, it may take you 5 hours when you total it all up. But I think that is far more of a intellectual exercise. You're more engaged with your book than watching something very passively on the screen. Like, you're watching and it's enjoyable, but when you're reading, it sends off synopses in your brain and it gets ideas and thoughts. Not that movies don't do that, but I think it's unfortunate for folks to neglect fiction. There's some excellent books that are fiction, and I encourage you to just figure out what you enjoy learning about and read on that topic. The next thing that's helpful for you to be a lifelong learner is to seek out mentors and network. Attend conferences, seminars, join communities in which there's a topic that you have an interest in. I'm in a number of professional development communities, people that I have connected with. We're like-minded. You can use these communities to hold you accountable. You can use these communities as a source of inspiration. Because when sometimes you think you like the biggest and baddest in the room, and then you go in the room and there's somebody that's bigger and badder, and you're like, oh, there's still more for me to do. I thought I had attained, and I've not attained, right? So not for the sake of comparison, but for the sake of a synergy and collaboration. I get excited about a great collaboration now. I used to want to be the lone wolf. I want to just run off and do things, the Lone Ranger. But boy, have I enjoyed the benefits of collaborating with others and putting something together that's not just my vision, but it's a collective vision. So seek out mentors, network. The next thing, embrace failure and learn from mistakes. That's a growth mindset. Fail your way to the top. Me and my wife were just talking about And she was basically telling me that I have a better sense of embracing failure. Cause I mean, I do stand up. So every show, I don't do the best that I can do. Like, and we've had this conversation about, my wife would tell me, you being too hard on yourself. And in some regards, in some cases I have been, but in other cases, I'm not. I'm being very realistic. Like it's not uncommon for me if I don't have for me to tell you that, oh man, that was not my best performance. I wasn't good. I didn't do well. I didn't do well for a variety of reasons. Maybe it was the audience. Maybe I was tired. Maybe I hadn't prepared. Maybe I didn't do enough research. But I'm very honest about my performance. I know. And I know. I'm like, man, that was a C. And it's like, no, you're being too hard on yourself. Like, no, that was a C performance. I don't endeavor to do have C performances, but man, that wasn't good. And my wife was basically saying how, she just wasn't in a place to accept failure. Like you try to whitewash it or you try to create a different narrative. I wasn't failure. You try to rationalize. That's one of the words. Sequiloquy. That's another word. I sent this. I put this on my Instagram. What are the words that get you, that trip you up? Rationalize is one of those words. I should probably do a segment. I love doing new segments. Words that trip you up. Rationalize. But she wanted to rationalize her mistakes or failures and say they were not failures, and they're failures. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fall down. What's not okay is to not get up. Is to keep lying on the ground. So we're gonna fail. You should fail. You should endeavor to fail. But the problem, fail with some purpose. Fail with some urgency. Fail and immediately make a pivot, but go back, understand what the mistake that you made was, and how do you not make that mistake again. And last but not least, this is a tough one. Grit your teeth. I know you want to hear it. Practice self-discipline. Ooh-wee. I'm practicing self-discipline this week. My daughter, birthday. We just recently celebrated my daughter's birthday. There's a cake at our house. I'm not having any more cake. I've had enough cake. Because I'm working on something. I got something going on. I got to practice self-discipline. I hadn't had cake in a while. We don't keep cake at our house typically. When we have birthdays, we have cake. But I've had 2 days of cake. That's enough cake. But see, what would typically happen if I hadn't thought about this, if I hadn't practiced self-discipline, I would eat cake every day until the cake is gone. It's not my cake. It's my daughter's cake. So I've had my cake. Now it's time for me to practice self-discipline. To be a lifelong learner, you got to practice self-discipline. I think I said in one of the podcasts earlier when I was talking about sowing, but taking 10% of your earnings and using that for professional development. One of the other things I said was take 30 minutes a day for personal development. Take 30 minutes a day to read a book. That's something that I endeavor to do. And every day I'm not as disciplined as I ought, but I want to spend every day reading something that will enhance my leadership, my knowledge base. And interesting enough for me, my job, I have to read to create content. So sometimes I feel like, is this personal development? Is this for comedy? And ultimately, it doesn't matter. Just read. Just get your read on. And understand it's a journey, not a destination, folks. I'm so excited to be back. I'm excited to be back with y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in with me. I want y'all to follow all the things I have going on. Please subscribe, share, like, leave a comment. If you're not on my email list, please go to mikegoodwin.com. Join my email list. You can find my tour dates there. I'm coming. We're building the Big Dad Energy Tour as we go. It's build it as we go. So I know that Raleigh's on the calendar. I think I'm coming to Kansas City. That's a date on the calendar. Boston, Virginia's on the calendar. There's a couple of other places, but I'm gonna get to the places. I'm gonna get to Atlanta. I'm gonna get to Dallas. I'm gonna get to Houston. I'm gonna get to Jacksonville, Florida, Birmingham. Like, I'm gonna get to the places where I know folks are there. Nashville, where folks want to support. Also, if you're following me on YouTube, thank you so much. And if you're not, please get over there to YouTube. Get your subscribe on. I'm putting more effort in intentionality into growing this YouTube page and giving content that is relevant, that is entertaining, and that will provide some value. So again, we're back. Yes, we are back for the Best Advice Ever podcast. Wanted to give a shout out before I leave. I'll do what you're not gonna do. The Las Vegas Aces, the back-to-back world champions. What you're not gonna do, New York Liberty, is not come to the podium and talk after you lose. What is going on with these teams that are not requiring their players to do the post-game presser? I think the University of Southern California just did that when they lost to Utah. I'm not a fan. Hey, man, if you would have won, you'd be up there popping champagne, smoking cigars. Now, when you lose, you don't want to be accountable. You don't want to be there. You want to go and hide. What you're not going to do is not be good sportsmen, sports people. Have good sportsmanship. I think that's important to, hey man, be as eager to communicate in a loss as you are in a win. That goes back to the idea of embracing failure. So what you're not going to do is not be a regular listener to the Mike Goodwin Best Advice Ever podcast. I'm back, people. Let your friend know. Let a friend of a friend of a friend know. If you're in Columbia, South Carolina, can't wait to see you on November the 11th. It's going to be a great night. Thank you so much for tuning in with me on the Best Advice Ever podcast. You could have been anywhere in the world listening to podcasts, but you're here with me, and I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.